welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, you have landed on GingerChickRehab, where I love to take secondhand finds and share the process with you here on the channel, how I make these items over and make them into beautiful home decor. For today's video, I'm actually doing some TikTok inspired. So if you do like any of the social medias, Instagram, TikTok, even like Facebook, they do quick little videos. I also do quick little videos, but they're usually like 30 seconds to 3 minutes. So it's hard to teach a craft in that amount of time. You kind of have to like, oh, what are they doing? What did they do there? You know, I know on my Facebook, I get a lot of that. What was that you did? I tried to go back after, you know, and try to answer some of the questions that I can. But in today's video, I have seen some beautiful wreath making out there, and I thought, you know what? These seem really easy. The videos, the quick little videos make them seem really easy. So are they as easy as they seem? So let me share the process with you all of making these simple, beautiful wreaths. It's time to change up our front doors. It's time to change up our decor for fall. A lot of you probably already have, but who doesn't like adding something new into their decor? So I didn't even really know that these straw wreaths were project pieces. I always thought it was a straw wreath that you hung on your door. So I'm trying to shake off the excess, you know, but when I saw them working with this on TikTok, I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting. So coffee filters, yes. I love the brown paper sack color. Oh, so I ordered a bunch because I didn't know how many it would take. I saw that she was using these type of coffee filters, but I had no idea how many it would take. So I ordered the biggest bulk that I could. So no real like cutting them down, other than I think the ones she had, or maybe she already had pre-cut them off. They have little tabbies on there, and I don't want that tabby to be in my wreath, so I'm going to go ahead and take the time to cut them off. That I've got them cut off, all I'm going to do is open it up. I can't say that that's it might, you know, once you do a few, you kind of get a spot where you know where the tabby was. That makes it easily to open. So it's kind of like the music wreath that I had done in the past. If you watched my channel before and you watched me do that, you kind of just take like a pointy tool, like this is a Cricut embossing tool, but you can use a paint stick or paintbrush end, a screwdriver, what have you, and really you just scrunch it up onto that object like you're gonna throw it away in the trash, and then you just puncture it into this straw, and the pressure of the straw being tight is what's going to keep it in. So this is my first attempt, never done anything like this before. I'm just going with it, and we'll see how it works. Sometimes it's nice to slow it down. It's nice to give a little bit more visual. Now that I've done it, have a few underneath my belt that I think I know what I'm doing. I really want to make that point and then tuck it right in. And who would have thought a scrunched up piece of paper that looks like you should throw it in the trash and you bunch them all together can make a beautiful wreath. You really just keep working on it until it's full. So like what I'm going to do is I'm going to stagger. So that next layer I'm putting in, I'm going to stagger it in between the two first pieces. And that way we don't really see too much of that straw underneath. So yeah, just keep working on it until I'm not counting them, y'all. I'll just share with you what I bought. And if you want to make one, buy that. And then what you use is what you use, because everybody's like little package is going to be different. It's going to be bigger, smaller, whatever. You know, you never exactly do it quite like the person, I feel anyway. So this took this far complete took one of these packages. So 3 of the packages came in the bulk bundle that I purchased, but I like my wreaths to be really full. I think it is turning out gorgeous. But now what do I do with it? For me, to get a wreath to sell in my retail booth, I usually have to put it on something. I already have to make it into decor. And I picked up this New Age tobacco basket, and it is beautiful. But the colors are too matchy. It doesn't really do much for that beautiful wreath that I just spent. And it really didn't take less than an hour to make, y'all. It was not difficult at all. So I'm actually going to paint this up. Y'all, it's new. It's not old. And I think the color I'm going to use, green has been like a color for me lately, but it's a classic. So we are doing Fusion's French Eggshell. Dry brushing, if you've not done dry brushing before, is where you dip it into the paint and you dip the paint off onto like I'm doing here on the paper plate, and it's just a little dab will do you. So then you don't not a heavy brush stroke. We're not painting the piece, we're dry brushing the piece. So the heavier your hand is, the more paint you're going to get on, the more paint you have on the brush, the more paint. You don't want that. You just want it to be the dry brush, just slightly grazing over this tobacco basket and looking how it just is adding a little bit of color, and that's going to be a great backdrop for that brown paper sack color. But before I can attach my wreath, I need to make a little bit of a hanging system. Now, when it comes to a tobacco wreath that's kind of rounded at the back, you need to find the flattest spot on the back. So not necessarily the highest spot, the flattest spot. And then that's where I'm going to twist my little wire around and make a hanging system. Yes, the reeds are so thin you can't guarantee this heavy of a tobacco basket with a wreath a picture hanger would do. So I did the wire. Now I'm gluing the wire in place. I already have it pushed all the way up against that first reed, and then we're going to let this completely cool before trying to do anything else to it. And then to attach the wreath, I'm just going to do that same thing, a whole bunch of hot glue on the back of this. And the thing about hot glue is really, it's not ruining each object. You can unattach it if you by chance you wanted to. It's you really hardly ever have I run across where it really ruins something if you want to remove it. But this is pretty kind of heavy with that straw, makes it kind of heavy, so I'm going to put a generous amount on. But I wish I had Feel-O-Vision because it's just so full. So there was definitely something that fascinated me about this wreath. I really loved the airy, it really screamed fall to me. So she showed a wire wreath. I just thrifted this one at a garage sale. I did purchase all this raffia, a lot of raffia, because I had no idea, off of Amazon. And I couldn't really tell like her link. Like, did she use the whole strand of it, or did she use a half a strand of it? How much of her bunches? I knew she just tied one knot on there. You know, trial and error. You know, we've got all be new at trying something at least once in our life. So I'll just work with it until I like it. Okay, so I've done a couple now. So what I'm doing is I'm separating my 4 strands of wire, the 4 metal wire pieces, into 3 sections. So doing the first 2, then the last two, and then doing the two in the middle. I'm trying to make this as full as possible. So like if I did it over the whole entire thing, you really it really shortened up the raffia. So like I said, it was just watching her wrap. You had no idea how much you were going to be doing. So yeah, I mean, it looks like a hot mess, and it looks like a bird would have so much fun in it, but it's the fun of trying new things. I'm not sure what happened to that video, but I took it all off. I took off what I did and then decided not to cut them down. I really like it a lot fuller. I can always give it a haircut if need be, but yes, this is how it's looking. So when you open up your raffia strand, yeah, that's what I did. I just took it as it is and then took a section, probably like a ½ inch section, and then wrapped it in. Still doing the threes. I liked the fullness that was giving it, but yeah, just not cutting it down. At this point, I'm about halfway done, and I'm just kind of pulling out any of the loose stuff, and then we're just going to keep on going. It's really not taking that long at all, but I'm just trying to vision how hers was and how it was flowing, but I still just want to keep wrapping it and tying it around the same direction. So this next wreath, I went to Hobby Lobby and I was actually thinking I was going to get some homespun fabric, the ticking stripe. But I picked out this fabric because it was two-sided. The ticking stripe homespun was only one side, and I want to do the same thing with this wreath as I did with the first wreath with the coffee filters. But at first I need to cut this into sections, into squares. So I think I'm just going to do like 4-inch sections, cutting this down. So I purchased 2 yards of fabric. So this is 2 yards of 4-inch squares, and there are some little pieces that were left over. So when I did the first wreath, my hand kind of hurt because that was kind of small. So I'm like, I don't like a screwdriver. A screwdriver would probably work a little bit better because there's a bigger handle and it's a lot more comfortable, but it's the same concept. All I'm doing is just wrapping that fabric around. Actually easier, way easier, because I'm not puncturing through the paper. But oh my gosh, this is so easy to do. And I already can tell that I'm going to love it. So a 12-inch wreath from Amazon, 2 yards of fabric, and this is how full I was able to make it. Gorgeous! And I actually have this frame that I already painted that has some recycled wood in it. I took a flag off. Nobody bought it. It's 6 months later, but it's perfect to replace the flag with and then put this wreath on. Sometimes as us crafters and we have a retail booth, sometimes you have to recycle things that just don't sell and see. And well, you can always hope for the best, but oh, that wreath on this frame with that dark wood, oh, be still my heart. And I may have new people, I hope, that have never seen me make one of the hymnal wreaths. This is my best seller, y'all. And hymnals, old hymnals, I am given a ton of them. I find them in free boxes at almost every sale that I go, especially a church sale. A church garage sale definitely has a whole bunch of them. So all I'm doing is taking them, I'm cutting them in half, and I'm making smaller wreaths for this one, so the halves are going to then be cut in half. It all depends on what size of wreath that you want to make. Now, my basic form is from the Dollar Tree store, just this hard foam wreath. Like I said, the size of paper you leave is the size that you can help make it. But for this one, I'm making smaller ones. So I'm using that same little tool, and it's actually a staple removing tool, but it's got a nice handle. So what I'm doing here is on this one, I'm doing a little bit of hot glue because this form is pretty hard. If you've ever touched these, they're hard. So, but I am able with this tool to stick it in just a little bit to help the glue dry, but I do glue these pieces of paper in. So same thing, we're crinkling up that paper like we're going to throw it in the trash, but we're doing that over this like a pencil, a end of a paintbrush, or like I'm doing this a screwdriver type tool, and then just putting in there a little dab of hot glue to help it stay in place. And then I am kind of piercing that foam wreath just a little bit to help it hold. And it's always funny because it always looks like a hot mess once you start it off. You're like, well, that's just looks like wadded up paper. But what is it about wadded up paper that fills a whole wreath up that just is gorgeous? My tip for really getting the wreath to look full is to stagger. So now when I go to my next layer to fill the whole green up, I'm going to stagger it in the middle of those other two pieces of paper. You don't want to line them straight up because you'll have a hole and you'll see the green and you don't want to see that green. So you just keep on working your way around till you no longer see any of the green foam. If you have to tweak a little bit here and there, then it is perfect. And for this one, I actually have this thrifted mirror and it has all that chippy goodness, but it's that aged, probably used to be white. It used to be white, but look at that chippy, crackling goodness. Oh my gosh. But then it's an aged mirror, so that's kind of iffy if somebody's really going to be interested in it. But I don't know, it attracted me at that estate sale, and I'm going to go ahead and change out this wire. Well, the wire's not attached on one side anymore, and it's all put in by tacks. So we definitely need to replace this and do a little, like I always said, make your pieces beautiful front and back. So I'm going to do a little bit of work on this back and share the process with you. This mirror was in a barn, in a dirty old barn, so I'm just going to take the air compressor and make sure there's not any friends, get those cobwebs taken off. Yeah, I want to get this piece cleaned up. Not only just, wiping it off, I want to get anything else that might be hanging out in the crevices off. I want to cover up the back of the mirror, so all I'm doing is using a piece of a contractor's paper, which is a really heavy, like that cardboard type of paper. Not quite cardboard, but not type like wrapping paper, and I'm just going to go ahead and hot glue it, and that's really going to give this back that finished look. Not necessarily with my scissor cutting, but by taking a straight edge and a rotary cutter and making a straight line, I think it'll look a little better. Now I'm going to go ahead and add a hanging system, but I'm going to change where the hanging system was. Just the way that the wreath turned out is going to touch the top and the bottom the long way across. So I'm going to go ahead and add some eyelet hooks, some nice 17 gauge wire, mirror frame heavy, so you want to make sure that you have a heavy wire and some good hanging system like these eyelet hooks from Amazon to hang the piece. I did clean that front just as well as I cleaned that back, so everything is spiffy. And now I'm just going to add that hot glue to the frame, not to the glass, to the frame. Since these music wreaths are one of my best sellers, I'm going to attach them. I made multiples to attach them to multiple items. Like this is like an old bulb sifter. It's got a crack in it, but that's okay because I know that I can just take a brad nail, get that fixed, so that's nice and tight. And it's as simple as just gluing this wreath on. Like I said, made multiples because they sell well. See the difference in the color on this one because this one is made from copier paper. Yep, hymnal sheets on copier paper, so there's no age, so it's a brighter white. So, what did you think? Were they simple and easy? A couple of them were, and so the straw wreath, I didn't even know there was such a thing. I guess I thought they were just decor in themselves. Ordered those off Amazon. Everything will be down in the description if you're interested in making any of these wreaths. But that was simple. Just some kind of poking tool, poke it into the straw. Who would have who would have thunk it? Coffee filters, oh my gosh. And then, I made something similar with the fabric, and that was absolutely gorgeous. 2 super simple wreaths. Now, the Raffia one, I'm still on the fence about. Did it look like her picture? not as perfect as her picture, but I don't know how I would have, I mean, I'm not really sure because like I said, when you watch those little videos, they are just quick. They're quick. Here's what I used to started it, and then I finished. Like all the in between was gone of the video. So I don't know. I like it. I think it's beautiful. I couldn't fit it into any of my stuff, and what a front door statement that will make. And I know you're all thinking it. Every little bird and critter would be like, yoo-hoo, new home, a place to live in there. Yes. But it's gorgeous. It's perfect for fall. It is perfect for fall. So, and then my classic, my go-to, my seller. I am out of them. Music, hymnal wreaths. You could do a book wreath. You could do, you know, anything that's old laying around that they're giving away free all the time. And then I showed you like the copier paper ones, you know, like the wider, so matching up the frame. You don't have to have, there's just something about aged paper, and I know but it takes a lot of that paper. It really does take a lot of that paper to make those wreaths. And like for these wreaths, I quartered it. If you half the sheet, the wreath will get bigger. If you use a bigger wreath form, you know, so you could tweak it anyway for whatever you're trying to fill. I just wanted to share with you for those who are new to the channel, have never seen me make one of the wreaths. But I absolutely loved each and every one of them, and they're fun to make. And wreaths, the music resell, we'll see how the other ones go. You just never know. So thanks again for watching today's video. And if you made it to the end of the video and you are not already part of our YouTube family, smash that subscription button along with the notification bell so you know we've uploaded a new video. And we will see you next time, guys, and you can see what we're up to. Bye.